I wanted to come and reiterate a couple of things with regards to this medicine that kind of get lost again within the poetry. I've talked about this before in another video, and I think it's titled Your Body Wants You to Follow the Rules, or Needs You to Follow the Rules. So if you haven't listened to that, I would go check that out. But when it comes to the understanding and the truth that your body only knows healing and that your symptoms are the healing, that is not the same thing as you are doing everything that is required for your body to get the results that you want. And I see a lot of people get trapped within this because there is this poetic, beautiful side of being a human, therefore with utilizing true medicine. But there's also this practical side where the body requires certain things. And just like breathing, just like nourishment, just like sleep, just like light, there's no amount of positive thinking that is going to make those rules and those laws with regards to the physical world that you're in and the physical body that you're in completely escapable, right? You're going to have to follow those rules. You get to alter how impactful they are, right? Like we talk about nutrition, how you get to a point when you follow the rules of your body to where what you're eating is not as important, is not as essential. But that's not the same thing as saying food doesn't matter and I'm going to eat whatever I want and then I'm going to be mad at my body, or just blindly trust that my body only heals, therefore I'm going to keep eating the same thing that's creating these symptoms, but I'm going to call it healing and still not do anything to change, and expect that I'm going to get rid of a diagnosis, expect that I'm going to get rid of a physical condition that I no longer want to experience. So that's not how this works. You have to follow the rules. And when you're in a state where you have a diagnosis, where your body's not exactly how you want it to be, then you are not in the category of just getting to do whatever you want. You haven't earned that yet. You have to follow the rules even more tightly than somebody that was in that position. And you'll see as you move through healing, the requirements and where you have to put intensity and rigidity will fluctuate and change as you move through it. And that's the cool part. That's the freedom of it. But if you are sitting in a time where you need a lot of changes in your physical body, you're not going to be one of those that just gets to do whatever you want, stay in a room all day eating ice cream and pizza in bed and drinking alcohol and watching TV and just knowing that the body heals and you're going to get the results that you want. That's not how it works. You have to do the practical as well as the poetic. So it does matter how you feel, how you relate, how you think, your motives, your intentions, but it also matters the actual tangible inputs that you are incorporating in your physical body. The kicker is it's not to the degree that everyone is selling you. The diet's not going to save you. The supplements aren't going to save you. All of those little things are not as powerful as they're selling. They're important, just like I talk about in that nutrition masterclass. Whiskey's going to do what whiskey does. You can't take 3 shots of whiskey and positively think yourself out of that. Somebody who really had mastered the powers of the mind, could they? Yes, but from what I've experienced, that's not the average person yet, right? I can't wait till we are. Some people are getting pretty freaking close. But so with that being said, you have to know that the effects of whiskey are going to have the effects of whiskey, and they aren't going to be the same effect in every single body. Yours is going to process that differently. So even that's where the dynamic and just complex nature to all of this can come up, but it's actually quite simple. And when you follow the rules and you put them in consistently, it naturally takes care of all the complexity of everything, and you automatically get to see how it had nothing to do with what you were eating, but how you were eating and why you were choosing what you were choosing to eat. And then the smallest degree was what you chose to eat. And that's where everything is just upside down and where we give priority. You should be asking more questions about you than the stuff that you're using. You should be asking more questions about you than the foods that you're choosing. And that's not the world we're in right now. That's not what we've been sold in health and wellness and medicine in this information overload time, right? Information is fantastic if it's used appropriately. Just to accumulate does absolutely nothing, and that's where a lot of people are. Or they take these little things or these little sayings that are our truths, your symptoms are the healing, And then they just use that as an excuse to not follow the rules, not do what the body requires to facilitate the results and the completion of the healing. So think about that. Make sure you're being honest with yourself. Make sure you're not finding these beautiful poetic truths and then pairing that with I'm going to do whatever I want and then be hard on my body and hard on myself, or even start thinking that maybe none of it is even true because I'm not getting the results that I want, but I'm not following the rules to get the outcome that matches how I'm living. So your life is your medicine, all of it. And depending on where you're at in healing is going to depend on how tightly and how intentionally you have to follow the rules, and then how intentionally you have to choose the inputs that you're putting in your physical body. And that's going to change day to day, moment to moment, person to person. It's not matched with a word, a diagnosis. That has nothing to do with you. And the quicker you get rid of that, the quicker you quit associating with that, the quicker you actually come to true understanding and therefore true change. So think about that. Really see where you kind of maybe use it even playfully, of like, yeah, it's a birthday cake and I want it, even though I know my body's not going to respond well to it, but my body is only heals and my symptoms are the healing, so I'm going to keep doing whatever I want to do. And because I'm doing what I want to do, that's true. No. There's a difference in following what's true to the body and following what's true to your mind, and that's a totally different conversation. But think on this, think about the truth of it. It is beautiful, it is poetic, but it's massively practical too, because there are laws here. We can't say that the only laws that apply to your physical body are with breathing. You can positively think your way out of not breathing. So then with all the other rules that we talk about, it's the same thing. So how quick is your breath rate? You know, how deep are your breaths? How much? That's going to change day to day. But the truth is that breathing is in every single day because it's required. So that's how I want you to start thinking about it, because this is a very beautiful medicine, and it's true and it's real and it's deep, and it pulls the soul and the spiritual and all of it. But there is a physical component here too, because it's a physical body that you are dancing with all of these concepts and ideas and truths. So you can max out some of these things, but it doesn't take away from the requirement that the body needs to facilitate the healing that's always and already happening.